Let's begin. It's the win. Listen, laugh, and learn and understand. Hope, believe that you can. It's the Women's Information Network. It's the win.
Welcome to the Win Show. We're so glad you joined us. I'm Paula Fellingham, CEO of the Women's Information Network, thewinonline.com. We're the online home for all women, all ages, a community of women helping women. Our hosts are Heather Anderson. She's runner-up for Miss USA. Laura Lee Christensen is the Executive Vice President of the Win. And Kim Coles is an actress, a comedian, and a speaker. Our guest today is the wonderful Marnie Pehrson. She's a mother of 6, ages 8 to 21. She's a best-selling author and the creator of IdeaMarketers.com and SheLovesGod.com. She shows you how to light the world as you transform your talents and experience into a message that will change the world and generate income in the process. So glad you're here.
It's great to be here.
I am so excited to hear about what sets you apart. There's a lot of people online who are claiming to be experts in your field. So what sets you apart? What makes you really different?
The main thing is that I tell people to that God is your guru. You know, there's a lot of experts out there that are going to tell you what to do, and there's all kinds of different ways you can go. You know, and on the Win, you're going to hear a lot of different pieces of information and feedback. But everybody's path is different.
Yes.
And so what works for me may not work for you. And so you've got to listen to the Spirit and know what's the right thing for you. And then I also tell people, you learn a lot about the law of attraction and things like that. I tell people to get a confirmation that you know that what you're doing is what is the optimal thing for you, what God would have for you. So that once you have that confirmation, then you can walk forward in faith knowing that, He's on my side with this. He's not going to abandon me on this.
So how do you get that? Yeah. That's the
A brick
$64.
drops in your head, or how do you know?
Well,
lightning bolt.
It takes some practice and learning to listen to the Spirit and what it's telling you, but you kind of study it out for yourself first. You kind of have to weigh the pros and cons and figure it out in your own mind, and then you go to Him and you ask Him, is this the right thing? And if you feel peace, joy, love, all that fruit of the Spirit, as Galatians says, then you got that seal of approval. But if it's doubt, fear, uncertainty,
Probably should go a different direction.
Probably should go another direction.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
Now, you teach a formula for accomplishing what seems to be impossible. Talk about this formula, please.
Well, I call it halo over gratitude.
Ooh.
Halo over gratitude.
Halo over gratitude. So H is to humble yourself and realize that you could do this, even if you think you're good, if you think you got it covered, you can do it so much better with God on your side. If you've got Him on your side, then you can do it. So you got to start with that humble. And then the A is to ask. And you can't just ask. I think you need to expect an answer and know that there's an answer. Because where there's a question, there is an answer to go with it. Okay. And then the L is to listen. So that means turning off the cell phones and the TVs and the iPods.
Radio off while you drive for a minute.
And it may take some time. I call it a bread trail. I call it God's bread trail, because sometimes He'll just give you little clues, and you're going along and you're picking up things over time.
Bless you.
Isn't
I
it?
keep sneezing. Sorry.
But that's wonderful.
I love
God's
it.
little bread trail.
Yeah.
And then the O is to, after you've got that, listen, obey. Do it fast and quickly, because a lot of people miss that window of opportunity. Yeah. And the reason why I say over gratitude is you need gratitude from day one. You need, as you're asking, you need to be grateful that He's going to give you the answer.
Confident in that.
To know that you're with that expectancy. And as it comes, grateful that He's going to give you the strength to do what it is. And then also gratitude after it's all done. So it just comes through the whole process.
Gratitude is such a key. Absolutely.
I love your concept of God's bread trail.
Thank you. I love that too.
Because so often answers do come that way.
Yeah.
They aren't one great big thing, but it's
Right.
pieces, one at a time.
So what's an example of your formula? You talked a little bit about it just then.
Yeah, well, I think an ideal example is when I was coming out here. When you called me about being on the Win, I was like, I know that this is something I'm supposed to do. And I had a very good feeling about this whole trip, and I knew that was something I need to do. But if anybody's following the news, lately we had a lot of floods in Georgia.
Oh.
Yes, you have.
And we live on a hill, and we have a half-mile drive that cuts through a field, and that field became a lake.
Oh.
And it did that Sunday night. And when it does that, we don't get out for like 3 or 4 days. Wow. And I knew I was going to miss my flight Wednesday morning if I didn't get out. And so Sunday night, we found out at 10 o'clock it was going to be flooded. And I knew that I wasn't going to get out, but I had kind of prayed about it, and I felt this feeling of peace. It's going to be okay. Just pack your bags, go out tomorrow. Well, come tomorrow, it was a lake. I mean, it was bad. And I checked around on ways to get out. Couldn't come up with anything. Finally, my brother-in-law says, "You can wait out in this. It's not.
You
doesn't
walked
fast
through a
move."
flood to get to us?
I waited out. So my son put my suitcase on top of his head. I had my backpack on top of my head with my laptop in it.
Oh, bless your heart.
He told me it wouldn't get above my waist, but we kept going. It was immediately to our waist. It got up to our armpits.
Oh, and you're
I
thinking, I have this laptop on my
And
head.
I'm praying the whole time, please don't let me drop the laptop. Please don't let me drop it. You know, but had I not known I needed to come here, I would not have gotten in that water.
We are so glad you're here.
What a wonderful story.
So that's sort of an example
Thank
of
you.
having that confirmation and then obeying. And there was just a small window of time that I could have done that because the floods kept rising after that. Had I not gone when the inspiration said to go.
Perfect example of exactly your formula. Yeah. Perfect example. Thank you. My goodness. I'm
You
so
really wanted to be
humbled.
here.
I want to be here.
Were you wearing wading boots or something? Or
I did have some waders on, but it seeped in after a while.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
it was soaked by the time I got
But
there.
you and the laptop made it, so.
Yeah, we made it. Yeah.
So tell us, as you teach this formula, what are some examples, what is some stories that you've seen of people who have learned this process of hearing the confirmation and then being guided by that? What difference does it make?
I think it makes all the difference in the world because, you know, if you don't get that confirmation, or even if you do, you're going to have doubts and fears later. You know, with adversity is going to come up and you're going to think, oh, you know, maybe this isn't the right thing. You know, and time after time I've seen people, they hit like a terror barrier at this point when you're about ready to reach through. And if you've had that confirmation and you know it's what you're supposed to do, then you can have the faith, you know, that unwavering faith that says, no, I know God told me to do this, but you got to document it. You know, and you get that answer, write it down because you're going to forget it when you get to the when you hit the high water.
Get the high water.
You're going to forget.
No, I love that. Just writing down all of those incredible, motivational, inspiring things that have happened so that when you are in a hard time, you can look back and read and say, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And look, I've done it before. And God's answered my prayers before.
That's a
I
great
love
comment.
that.
So in your program, Light the World, your show, what's your message for women, and how do you see that carrying out? What effect is it going to have on the world?
I think it's huge. I think that women have within them the ability to impact lives. It's just they impact generations, they impact everyone around them, and they don't really know it half the time. But their gifts and their talents are exactly what God's put inside them to help them leave a legacy to the world. And they may be an ordinary person, or they may be, you know, a speaker like you, or one of you,
Anything, yeah.
and it's going to be huge. It's like a ripple thrown in a pond, or, you know, a rock thrown in a pond that just keeps rippling and rippling for good.
How did you get so wise? You're so young. It's just like just a beautiful, beautiful woman you are. Just inside and out. You radiate.
Yeah.
You really do.
Well, thank you.
Good example.
That's just beautiful.
Very good example. of
Thank
what
you
you're
so
teaching.
much for being with us. Marnie, you're a
you.
treasure. We need to, that story, that is
That's
a
an
great
incredible
story.
story.
I'm still just,
can't believe you
my
waited.
heart is so filled
Wow.
with appreciation and gratitude and all sorts of love for you.
waiting to come to the wind.
Waiting to come to the wind.
honey.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And we invite everyone to go to thewinonline.com, where you're going to find solutions and you're going to share ideas that are yours and really connect with wonderful women like this and women worldwide. So now let's go out and live joyfully with passion and purpose. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
It's the Women's Information Network. It's the win.